How do you do?
How do you do?
Nice to see you.
Yo, this is the Hobby Shop Podcast. I'm your host, Philip. I'm here with Don. And, unfortunately, we're down a man again. Oh, well.
Tends to happen.
Yeah. Anyway, so, we got some questions off Twitter. And actually, most of them from Twitter. We do got one from Anime Amino. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I'm pretty sure it's Amino. It's a pretty cool app that I found. It's just basically one giant anime community. I don't know if it's only like for phones or you can actually get on like a computer and get on it. I don't know how that works. I think it is just for phones, but I've been having a lot of fun with it. I've gotten signed up with 3 Aminos communities. One for anime, wrestling, and video games. And someone's texting me. Let's just ignore it. No, I actually need to answer that. Hang on. But yeah, Amino is pretty cool. Hang on. That figures. I'm getting messages from other people that. Okay, this is kind of weird. I'm getting messages from my neighbor who's texting somebody else, and somehow I'm getting that messages, or I'm getting her messages sent to somebody else. Fucking weird. I don't know. Phones, technology, fuck it.
No,
Question time.
I just accidentally sending them to you.
Probably. So let's just get right down to the questions. I'm just rambling, so let's just get started. And I'm gonna have Don reading the questions because I don't want to fuck them up.
Alrighty, starting with you, Philip. This is from RKOT Taker 99. Thoughts on Dana White calling wrestling fake? Who's Dana White?
He is he's the head promoter for UFC. Somebody apparently said something to him on Twitter about, WWE pay-per-views are only $9.99. Why would anybody pay $60 for your fights? And his response was, "Well, wrestling's fake, so it should be $19.99." And people apparently just threw the internet into a tizzy. And people were just howling for his blood because he called wrestling fake. Oh, the audacity! I hate to break it to you people, but wrestling is fake. I don't like calling it fake because that kind of undermines what those guys do in the ring and all that. It kind of undermines what they do and the risk that they put themselves into. That's why most people call it a work, or they just scripted, predetermined. They just don't like using the word fake because it means people don't get hurt. Obviously, they do get hurt. But him calling it fake, he's calling it what it is. It's fake. I guess people didn't like the way he used the word fake, but end of the day, wrestling is fake. He called it what it is.
You could have just said it was just entertainment.
Well, yeah, he could have, but he didn't want to, and I don't give a shit, honestly, if someone calls wrestling fake. It just never bothered me, and Dana White, I don't know, he seems like a pretty straight shooter kind of guy. He kind of calls it how he sees it, so not really worth getting mad about. I think the way people overreacted about it was just kind of ridiculous and just unnecessary. It really just made wrestling fans look like a bunch of idiots. Okay, next question.
Alrighty, this is from None of Your Damn Biz Nuts.
Okay.
What's your thought on the whole Cena X-Pac thing?
Cena? Oh, China.
China?
Yeah, she was a former wrestler. They spelled her name with Y instead of an I. I don't know why. Yeah, okay, this was a whole mess, and people messaged me about this, and I did a lot of research on it, and it was just, okay, just basic, for those who don't know, X-Pac in China, they were wrestlers back in the late 90s. They haven't really wrestled in well over a decade. And
This thing squeaks.
it's just a squeaky chair. They have had a real bad time, like over 10 years ago. The whole sex tape thing and all that. Of course, China was on the Opie and Anthony show. Well, it's not the Opie and Anthony show anymore, but whatever. She was on a radio show, and X-Pac called in. Sean Waltman is his real name. Sean Waltman called in because she was practically accusing him of raping her. And he's like, no, that's bullshit. I never did anything like that. They used to date. They used to be a couple. Now, I should also say, they did a lot of drugs back in that time. I mean, a shit ton of drugs. I mean, I'm pretty sure heroin might have been thrown in there, but the main ones I think were cocaine and meth. So, according to Xbox, they were fucking seeing demons and shit. That's how messed up they were. And she seems to think that he slipped a date rape drug into her drink and had his way with her. He says that never happened. And watching it, you can find this clip on YouTube of China on the radio show. Every time he brings up a point, anytime he brings up a question, she just dodges it completely. And she's like, I'm going to take the high road. That time is behind me, and you're just bringing this up. And he doesn't want to bring this shit up either. But when she's lying about it, he wants to make sure the truth is out there. Now, neither one of them are like a real reliable source, because of course both of them are going to be biased because of who they are and the whole situation. But you can watch, you can see it in her face that she's full of shit. And I'm starting to believe what X-Pac is saying about how I think she just really wanted to just get a name out there, because she actually, in her book, she actually wrote down the story about how she got gang raped by a basketball team. And she even told X-Pac herself that was bullshit, that never happened. She made it up for the book. But now she's saying, oh no, that did happen. And it's just, you can tell that she was just
Sounds like a pathological liar.
Yeah.
Getting their words twisted and can't see what's fake from real.
Yeah, and again, neither one of them are like a reliable source, because both of them were fucked up on drugs back then.
Right.
A lot of people have told me that there's no way X-Pac could have abused her, because she's like a 6'5" Amazon and he's like 5' nothing. It's possible that can be done, but I don't think it was done in this case, because she said the same thing about Triple H. Keep in mind, Triple H is... Now, I think that story came out about when Triple H was starting to get some real power in WWE. He's married to the daughter of the owner of the company. So she started to spread, like, I think she... now, my time frame can be all wrong, but I'm pretty sure she started saying the stuff about how he abused her. I'm just tilting it. How he abused her and all that, broke her wrist and ribs and stuff like that. And I don't know about that situation, but Xbox is pretty convinced that she's lying about that too. So, you know what? This whole situation, I'm just kind of like, this is some just really trashy shit that got brought up, and of course people started talking about this because she apparently made a scene at Roddy Piper's funeral, which apparently her making a scene was just her hugging Triple H and telling her she was sorry for all the things she did and said and all that. It's just a whole mess, and honestly, I'm gonna side with X-Pac on this. There's a reason why WWE wants nothing to do with this woman, and this seems to be kind of the reasons. Although Triple H's reason was bullshit, because he's like, oh well, kids will look her up and find out that she did porn, and we can't have that, so that's why she's not in the Hall of Fame. really the reason is she's just a wreck. So it would probably be better for them to just kind of ignore her. So my thoughts on it is, she's obviously lying about a lot of stuff. I'm not going to say everything she said was a lie, but you can tell that she is practically sweating bullets every time X-Pac would say something. And he even said, hey, hey, I'm in town. I can just show up. And do a lie detector test, and she wanted nothing to do with that. Because if she was telling the truth, wouldn't you think she would have had no problem doing a lie detector test?
What?
I asked, do you think she would, if she was telling the truth, do you think she would have...
Okay, I don't know if that was a rhetorical question or...
No, I was actually asking you.
Okay, because most of the time you usually say, in a rhetorical question, so it's just like, oh.
Oh, I'm sorry, but yeah.
But, I don't know really how trusted those things are. I don't know how really efficient a lie detector is. But more than likely, she'd probably get caught lying. And, she already sounds like she already got caught with her pants down already, as is. And it sounds like just a huge clusterfuck that's drama of life.
Yeah. So we're just gonna move on from that, because it's just a big mess. Okay, next question.
Alright, this is from Meganiko Kazar. Kaiser.
Yeah, Kaiser. Meganiko Kaiser?
Yes.
Okay.
Meganiko Kaiser. Okay, favorite fan film?
I don't know. Do you have any?
I haven't really gone around watching fan films. I know should be a site for them.
Yeah, you can just type in fan film on or fan films.
Aren't they usually done for the film festivals usually?
Well, not all the time. Some of them are just passion projects. I've seen some good ones. The Casey Jones one was pretty great. I try to show you it, but you had to head home, so you only got like 20 minutes of it. It's really, really good. The effects are a little... Well, I'll just say this. Whenever it doesn't involve a Ninja Turtle, it looks great. Once you have Michelangelo in there, it looks horrendous. It's just because, the costume, the mouth doesn't move and all that. It looks like a costume. Have you ever seen, like, the Coming Out of Our Shell tour from the 90s? Okay, they did this whole thing where they would do this concert, and this guy's dressed up like Ninja Turtles, and their mouths, like, they moved, but barely, and didn't even match any words, just kind of nang, 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 nang.
What's that? I've just recalled the one fan film I saw, which was a Spawn one. It was pretty interesting. I don't really remember much of it. I know I was just browsing Imgur and I found it because someone was linking a whole bunch of fan films. And I was like, okay, I'll check this one out. It was really well done. It looked like it was really done by professionals. And it was interesting, but it looked like it probably cost a lot to do.
It probably did. I imagine it cost a lot to make the Casey Jones one. You know who Casey Jones is, right? Ninja Turtles?
No.
He's the dude with the hockey mask. Goongala. Beats up bad guys with, a hockey stick and shit. I would throw that one out there just because I fucking loved that one. I thought the guy who played Casey Jones was great. The effects, like I said, the Ninja Turtle costume was really lame looking, but they even threw Krang in there, and Krang actually looked pretty good, for a little puppet thing. But the majority of the movie is about Casey and the Purple Dragons and all that. The Ninja Clan or gang or whatever. We're not talking the Foot. We're talking Purple Dragons. So that stuff is great. Like I said, the acting's great. The writing's great. Fucking awesome theme song though. I gotta admit, the theme song for that one was pretty fucking awesome. Another one I would say is, and I'm telling you that you need to check this out. Batman City of Scars. That one is really fucking good, and I think it perfectly captures how shitty Gotham City is. It's very dark, very gritty, very fitting for Batman. That one's really good. Then there's the Punisher one, which I don't really count as a fan film because it was done by the guy who played the Punisher in that last Punisher movie. That one was really fucking good, but I don't really count it as a fan film. And then there's Static, the Static Shock fan film, which I think was a good blend of the cartoon and the comic books. There's a little hint of the cartoon in there, but for the most part, the source material is the comic book, which was a lot more darker and more serious. I think that one was great. And there's one other, but the name of it escapes me right now, so we're just going to move on. Anything you can add to that?
No, like I said, I've only watched, I think, just one fan film and the ones that you've shown. So that's really about it. I don't really go searching for much fan film.
I think sometimes the fans can do it better than Hollywood, just because they have more passion for it and stuff like that. The one I want to throw out there is it popped in my head and now I just forgot it. Dragon Ball Z. There's a Dragon Ball Z. What was it called? History of Trunks short film that is supposed to be. That I think the creator said that it's going to be a series, but there's the pilot's the only thing that's out there right now. It's live action and all that, and you know what? It looks fucking awesome. I can't wait to see more of that. And then there's Mortal Kombat. It was a series of videos, but I can't remember the name. It was Mortal Kombat. That's all I remember. God, what was it?
I know what you're talking about, but I don't think those were fan films. I think that was the promotion of MK9.
Really?
Yeah.
Then why was it like so different from it then?
Because are you talking the one that's on Machinima?
I don't remember. I
watched
watched
live
it on
action,
YouTube.
and it would do like a part for each of the characters.
Yeah, like an anthology thing.
I think that was for the promotion of MK9.
If it was a promotion for it, wouldn't it reflect the story in that? Because they went in like a really different direction.
Right, because I know it was because it came up the same time MK9.
I think maybe it wasn't to promote it, but I think it was it came out around that time to get viewership because of the game coming out. That could have been it, but I could be wrong. It could have been a promotional thing. One thing I did notice, and that's just because I'm a Power Rangers geek. This popped out at me. The guy playing Kenshi was the Quantum Ranger from Power Rangers Time Force. I can't remember his name, but he was like this. He was a pretty cool character in that show, and I'm just glad to see that actor get work because I thought it was pretty good. Even as Kenshi, he's good. So I thumbs up to that one. If I had to pick a favorite, I'm going to go with the Casey Jones one though, just because of it's Ninja Turtles and I fucking love Ninja Turtles. So yeah, next question.
Alright, this is from Yu-Gi-Oh! Bear 96. Worst game of MTG, and this is for me. I'm going to go with Tiny Leaders, Commander, and then Modern. And the reason for it is not the way they're played. It's really for the fact of how much they skyrocketed the prices of cards to a ridiculous amount. And then I'm probably going to have to say Standard being it's getting there probably to be one of the worst, mainly the fact that it's getting more and more dumbed down, and the prices of stuff is becoming ridiculous. What's a new concept of the rotation is it's really becoming very hard to stay in the game. And I mean, like, for newbies to get in this, like if you want to get in the Commander or if you want to get in the Tiny Leader, because those are supposed to be ones that aren't supposed to be taken serious and they're for fun.
Commander, I've watched you and others play games of Commander. That just seems like that kind of scares me away from the game more than wanting me to play it. Because it just seems like it's more overly complicating.
It's not complicated. It's more of just the fun part, but a lot of people take it serious, and I think that's really the issue with some of the MTG community is that Commander was supposed to be like multiplayer. It's for fun.
Yeah.
Tiny Leaders is also for fun. It's saying, hey, I have this collection, and I'd still like to be able to play with cards without playing competitive like Modern.
Yeah.
But they've skyrocketed the prices to play this to where it's impossible for new people who want to have fun to build fun decks.
Yeah.
It costs a lot, and the Magic marketing community is way too expensive to stay in. Like, I feel sorry for new people who are trying to get in and old people who've gotten out and trying to get back in, because it's just ridiculously expensive.
Now, when I read that question, I actually assumed he was asking about, like, what's the worst game you've played? Like worst game of Magic Gathering, like, the worst you've ever done in a game or something like that, or just worst experience or something like that. I wasn't sure what he was asking, so yeah, you might as well go into that.
It was very broad. But I went to a IQ in San Antonio, and I'm going to say SA is probably one of the worst scumbaggy community ever. I mean, talking about people who take it literally try-hard level of, oh, I got to win and do anything to win. I'll call a judge on you on anything or any little mistake. And I didn't really have, like, okay, yeah, it was a really horrible experience, but really what happened to my brother was he was playing against a control deck, and they de-sphered one of his courts with Crucifix, and they had the same sleeves. So what this guy did is, and this is when Curse of Crucifix was around, I think, $15 to $20, when it was pretty pricey.
How long ago was this?
This was probably about a year ago. Because this is this was way before we even did the podcast.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say, yeah, probably approximately about a year ago. And because this was last standard, which was during Ravnica and Theros block. What the guy did is he de-sphered, because he got two of his courses, because I know, because when he got in the top 8, they deck checked, because they make sure not stacking or anything. And what happened is that the guy apparently walked out. I don't know if he accidentally did it or if he purposely did it. I'm going to lean on it either or, but it really fucking sucked, and the guy never really came back, so I'm going to really go with he probably did it on purpose, because he never went back to the Dragon's Lair ever again, because they got his name and they were going to try and find him, but he never showed back up. So I'm going to say is he probably took them on purpose, because he walked out with like probably $40, but I mean, if you're going to sell them, they're only 10 each, so that's like 20, and not going back to the card shop or the Dragon's Lair again. It's just kind of like, really? And
see, that's why I've never, like, even with Yu-Gi-Oh, I never went into stuff like this where you would have to go to, like, I never liked the idea of going to these. This is one of those things where, like, a lot of money's on the line and stuff like that, right?
It's not really. I mean, it's expensive to go there. For me and Rob, it cost about $50 plus food, so about $60.
Now wait. Now this is what?
For Magic Standard.
Okay.
Which was last year, the last one we went to.
Is this like a? Like, I have no idea what that is. Is this like a?
It's an invitational qualifier, which is just a really small thing. Usually, you're gonna have about like. I think there was 50 to 60 people in that room.
Okay, so this wasn't like some big tournament or anything like that. Okay.
That was, we went to a Dallas one. I forgot which one that was. And I know it wasn't IQ, but I forgot what it was. But it was big. There was at least about, I think, 800 people packed around it. And I think that was probably one of my best experiences, because I went 4-0, and then I started to play a little bit of the big leaguers, and I just got too nervous and broke down and started to play really bad. So then I broke even 4-4.
And this is not Magic. It's just because I don't really play Magic. I've been trying to get into it, but it's just kind of a ongoing thing where I kind of want to get into it, then I don't, and it's just a never-ending thing. But with Yu-Gi-Oh, the worst game I've ever played. And this is just like worst experience, like just worst experience playing the actual game was I was playing with this guy who now I'm not really into like, oh, your deck has to be has to be 100% legal and all that. I don't fucking care, because I just play casual. I don't play competitively or anything like that. So if you have like a banned card or something like that, one, I don't even know what's banned. I'm not going to call it out or anything like that. I'm not going to make a big deal about this. But this guy got so fucking mad and this is back when I think Black Hole was banned. I'm pretty banned or restricted. Yeah, I think it was banned at this point. I don't remember how long ago this was. This is like, I think, like 2009. It was like 2008 or 2009. No, it was 2008 because I was still in high school. I played Dark Hole, and this guy just basically spent the whole game trying to get this one monster out. He finally got it out. I used Dark Hole. The guy got so fucking mad about it because he's like, "That's banned. How can you play that card? That's banned." He like called at. I don't want to say. Well, people probably heard his name by now, but I don't want to say his name. But the owner of the Heart of the Cards, he starts yelling at him. He's like, "That this is bullshit. How can you let him play this card?" And he's like, "Fuck, dude, it's just a game."
Yeah.
This guy gets so just so fucking butthurt over this that he actually slapped his deck to the ground and just flipped me off and stormed out. Came back later to get his cards.
I was like, "Thank you for the free cards. I'm gonna sell these on eBay. Thanks for playing."
The guy just ran right back in. I'm still sitting at the table. He's like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, there's certain level of people with anger management, because I know I have seen that too, where people do get mad over it, and I think that's kind of ridiculous. I mean, I can understand getting a little salty, where you're just kind of like, "Oh, I lost. Well, fuck beans, whatever."
The thing was, he didn't lose. I only had like, I think 200 life points left, and he didn't even take a hit. That was like the first time I actually got some offense on him, but still. Yeah, getting
anger management to the extreme.
It's just, oh my god! I didn't even know people took Yu-Gi-Oh that seriously. A game for what, 10-year-olds? I mean, let's be honest. Yu-Gi-Oh is for like 10-year-olds.
I just don't really agree with that. I think anything, regardless of what it is made for anyone.
Well, yeah, but it's just like most people would think Yu-Gi-Oh. Is that for kids? And I tend to agree with it. Doesn't mean it's not fun or anything like that. But yeah, I guess technically it's not only kids can play this, because obviously anybody can play it. But it is like mostly geared towards kids and stuff like that. You never were into Yu-Gi-Oh, so you probably
I was.
Okay.
I was when I
Did you ever buy like cards at Walmart?
Yes.
Did you ever get that awkward look from the cashier? Because I did a few times.
Okay, when I was still in Yu-Gi-Oh, because I cycled through, I went from Yu-Gi-Oh first to Magic, because I had friends who played Yu-Gi-Oh. I was around, I stopped playing Yu-Gi-Oh when I was 14, because that's when I cycled into Magic.
Oh, okay. With me, this would happen when I was like 17. Because I still was playing it.
Well, I think that's mainly the fact of the same issue with people who have the stigma of say, "Oh, cartoons are for kids." It's just like, no, anything can be that for any age, because
there's things that are clearly for kids that
MLP. No. I'm kidding there.
No. You're right on that. It is targeted to children, but you got like your little kid stuff that is clearly for kids. And anybody over the age of 5 is not going to give a shit about it. But stuff like, say, going with the cartoon thing you said, stuff like Adventure Time. Anybody can enjoy that. From a little kid to not being 90 years old, anybody can enjoy that. But
you'll still get looks, though.
Yeah, you'll still get looks, like if you bought the DVD of it. And it's funny. I would buy really adult shit from like a store here in town, and it'd be like really offering nudity and sexual content and stuff like that, and no one bat an eye. I get like I bought, what fucking movie was it? I bought an animated movie. I can't remember what it was. I think it was, what was it? Somewhere on that shelf. fuck, what was it? I'm like obsessed with this now.
Well, don't worry about it. You'll get it later.
It was a Disney movie that. It was a Disney movie, whatever. And people looked at me and looking at me like, "Fuck are you buying this for?" Just looking at me like I'm some kind of weirdo. But then again, I have a friend who can top that, and he's told his story multiple times to it's just strangers. So I don't think he would be bothered if I told his story here. He's a dad. He has a kid, and it was the typical beer diapers. He grabbed a DVD of like My Little Pony or something like that. He has a little girl, and he grabbed the beer for him and his wife and all that. And the guy saw the beer, saw the diapers, and saw the My Little Pony DVD, and he just looked at him like, "The fuck are you doing?"
That's when you look straight in their eyes and you're like, you can think whatever the fuck you want, but I don't give two shits.
And he didn't give two shits, but he did a little bit. I mean, he was like, "Oh fuck," just.
I mean, it's something you can say, a funny story. One time I bought these
items and stuff like that, and so many people have done. So many parents have done this at some point. I mean, that's why you have so many stories where people will say, "Oh, well, I bought this and this." It's a common thing that happens. Just sometimes you just don't think. But yeah, sometimes the cashier is just like, "Mind your own fucking business."
Honestly, when I was a cashier, I didn't give a fuck. I was just like,
whatever.
Just get out of here. I don't want to be alone.
You just wanted to get this done. And
I don't get paid to judge. I get paid to just sit here. Let me sit here.
And plus, and that's why, and that's why you rather work in the back because you don't want to deal with people. Because as a cashier, sometimes people have that resentment towards you because of what I was talking about, because stuff like that. Also, if anything goes wrong, it's your fault apparently to these people. So you better work with boxes than people. Okay. Anyway, your next question.
Alright, this is from Bo Turner. Hope I pronounced that properly. I think I've been pronouncing it pretty okay. Yeah. Hey Don, why do hardcore anime fans look down on people who like dubs over subs? People call me fake fans because I prefer to watch the dub over the sub. Now this is a thing that I've actually been hearing a lot, and I'm not really I don't really even understand this mindset, really, of whenever people are like, "Oh, you like dubs over subs, you're not a real fan." I really don't get that mindset of why would you belittle someone who has the same interests as you just because they watch it in the dub over the sub. Why does that honestly really matter?
It's like the purists that they have this idea that because I'm really hardcore into it, I'm more of a fan than you are.
I think it comes down to more of the totem pole thing of they want to feel superior one time.
They get territorial.
I think it's that, and they actually want to just feel superior for once.
It's like any kid who gets into anime. It's like, "I like anime," and it's like, and somebody will ask them, "What's your favorite anime?" Naruto, or because that's what they grew up with, or something like that. And people just fucking hammer them because it's like, "Oh, you like this? Fuck you!"
Yeah, I actually now understand the two sides of the coin of the elitist part of whenever you bash, and this is why I don't like Rob whenever he does this, because I respect people who watch certain things, boundaries, understand that certain people have different tastes than you. Please respect that, and never bash, or else you're gonna sound like a fucking pretentious elitist.
Well, the thing though is, if you don't like something, you're free to that opinion. You're free to express that opinion. Just try to respect other people's opinion. I'm not gonna throw Rob in there just because we had an argument about Godzilla, which what, he doesn't like it. I like it. What the fuck ever. Who cares?
Right, but I mean, I think with that, if you can express your love for something, I say you can also express your hate.
Yeah.
If you have every right to express your opinion, this person has every right to express their opinion. But with the issue being with this is the fact that this is something that's it's like Mac versus PC. It's fucking stupid.
Who cares?
It's like you both like almost the same identical thing. Why can you not get along?
It's like people who like, "Oh, you like PlayStation 4? Fuck you. It's Xbox One or whatever."
I don't really understand the psychological part of it, of why someone would even want to do such a thing.
Now, with the sub and dub thing, the reason why I think so many people are anti-dub is just because they think, oh, it taints the original content, or they ruin it, or something like that, because it's not what it originally was. When it comes to dubs or subs, to me, it's just a preference.
I just go with what makes it more believable and more watchable.
And I've said this before, that I prefer dubs over subs, just because you'll miss so much. Me and several other people will miss so much because you're looking at the subtitles. You won't notice like things that's happening on screen, like stuff in the background or something like that.
That's why you gotta read really fast.
The thing is, even though you're reading, you don't retain as much. Again, this I'm talking about like me. I'm primarily talking about how I am with subs. I don't retain as much when I read something opposed to hear something. I retain what I hear more than what I read. And I know I'm not the only person who's like this.
My sister's a lot like that.
It's why I like audiobooks. I made this abundantly clear. I don't like reading, to be honest. I'm just not a reading guy.
Well, again, this is also coming down of the way you learn. There's listeners, readers, and what was it? Or is it visual, hearing, and what was the other one for learning?
Visual, hearing, or I think some people can't learn unless they do it themselves. And I don't know what the word is for that, but it's like people either can learn by reading, by watching something, or doing something.
Right.
Like a lot of times, I know people who you can like. I know a guy who, he basically restores cars for a living. I mean, he's an independent guy, so he goes off and he has his own business and all that. He remodels cars. He didn't learn any of that by reading. He just started tinkering, and that's how he learned. He started working on cars and stuff like that, and he just mostly learned out of doing it himself. He couldn't watch videos and learn. He couldn't he couldn't read about it and learn it. And keep in mind, this is a guy who is, I don't want to say he's autistic. He's not autistic. He's just kind of slow. I don't even like saying slow, but
everyone's based on different ways. You got to respect the fact that people learn differently. People have different ways of learning.
It's like you talk to him, he doesn't know. He can't tell you shit that he would have learned in school. History, he doesn't know shit. Math, barely can do math. Anything above adding and subtraction, he doesn't know. He has trouble reading, and now I'm just making him sound like an idiot. He's not an idiot, obviously, because
how he excels with cars, and that itself is amazing.
Yeah, not everybody can do that. It doesn't really matter how well you did in school or anything like that. But we're really getting off subject here. The point is, some people can, when you're watching something, it's easier. For a lot of people, it's easier to, if you understand what they're saying instead of having to read the subtitles. Because again, by reading, you do miss a lot, and depending on the person, you might not retain the information as well. Now, there are exceptions. I have found some stuff that I can watch subtitle, but granted, a lot of it is stuff that doesn't need a whole lot of explaining. Godzilla movies. Honestly, I'm not even kidding. I actually rather watch Gojira opposed to Godzilla, just because there's so much edited out of the American version. There's so much like new American footage spliced into it that just kind of dumbs down the whole tone, and it just kind of ruins the nature of the film. I feel like Gojira as a film is much better without the dubbing or the that was the last question, so you don't have to worry about it.
Double check. Oh.
It went to something else. I also watched. I can watch like monster movies in other languages. That seems to be not that much of a.
Oh, they're going crazy.
I think my neighbor's back. What time is it?
It's only 3:23 or 3:32.
Okay. Someone's probably coming for the door. Oh great, dogs are barking now. I can't even think. Okay, my point was, I can watch like monster movies and stuff like that, like Rodan. I can watch Rodan without much of a problem. I wish that's one of those things where I wish I knew Japanese, so I didn't have to focus my attention to the bottom of the screen. And sometimes this has nothing to do with it, but sometimes subtitles will match the background, where like you have white subtitles and something white is on the bottom of the screen and you can't see it. But anyway, that's besides the point. There are exceptions where I can watch something subtitled. I mean, fuck, I watch Mexican horror movies. I watch Lucha Libre. I watch Mexican wrestling. Again, you don't need really to know Spanish to understand what the hell's going on. But, the storylines and stuff like that, the commentary, you can... I watch that stuff. So there are exceptions where I can handle watching something subtitled. But when it comes to anime, dubbed or sub, I go dub. Why people don't like dub, I don't know. Like we said, it's kind of a territorial thing.
But I mean, for Bo, if you ever really encounter, or anyone personally, if you ever encounter people like this, I'd honestly just laugh at them. Because I think people with this kind of mindset...
I just ignore them, honestly. That's all I can say.
I know. I think ignoring the issue causes more of the issue to really do, because I don't really like ignoring more things just because they don't go away. But with people like that, I guess I'll agree with you to an extent that I think people with that kind of mindset probably just either ignore, because, I mean, come on, it's just stupid.
Yeah, it's just a way. You're basically enjoying the exact same thing, just in a different language.
It just feels like they're just trying to water down and shit on someone's day.
Well, the thing with, and again, like I said, it's all a matter of preference. And for a lot of anime fans, I'm not like most anime fans. I primarily watch only dubs. But most anime fans I've talked to, they say, well, there's good dubs, bad dubs. There's some anime that are better in Japanese. There's some anime that's better in English. Cowboy Bebop being one that's better in English. Big O and Trigun, or others that are better in English. People told me stuff like Rurouni Kenshin's better in Japanese. People told me stuff like Death Note is better in Japanese. I'm just telling you what people thrown at me. By the way, did you ever watch Death Note?
No. It's not one I really got into. I got into it initially just because I'm like, okay, this is interesting. This is, different. But I got kind of bored halfway through it just because I'm like, okay, we're kind of spinning circles. I kind of actually thought about it for a little bit. A lot of my favorite animes are a lot better in dub. You got Trigun, Full Metal, Bakano.
Full Metal makes sense that it's in English, considering it takes place in a alternate Europe. Bakano, like I said, I have yet to find any episodes of that in English. Although somebody did tell me somebody has posted on YouTube, so I'll check that out probably tonight. So, yeah, you were saying that some of your favorite anime are in English.
Yeah. And, why does it really matter?
Yeah. Although one thing, and this is just something we're going to go from here, one thing I find kind of funny is when you have an anime where, when you have in a lot of anime, I've noticed this, when sometimes you have a character that's speaking English in the anime, they're still speaking Japanese, but you're like, oh, well, you speak English very well, even though they're still speaking in Japanese. A video game that comes to mind that I saw this happen in a video game was in Metal Gear Solid 3, where you're saving this Russian scientist. Snake is speaking in English, but apparently he's supposed to be speaking in Russian. That was a translation issue because in the Japanese he's speaking Japanese. It's just kind of a funny little quirk I've seen in some anime. I don't know if this is still a thing really. It probably is. But
I know Steins Gate, they had a little issue because there was a little part in the Japanese dub whenever he goes up to a African American who he tries to talk to. I'm trying to remember the line of how he's.
But he talks to him in like English.
Yeah, but it's God, I'm trying to remember the fucking line. Damn it! It's been too long since I've actually watched that anime. But yeah, in the dub version, he speaks jive. So yeah. I've heard.
Oh, because okay, so in the original sub, he is speaking. He speaks. He tries to speak English.
Yeah.
But in the English version, he tries to talk like
jive.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's like something I wish more anime would do when this problem crops up. I've noticed this more with older anime than I have with modern anime. But that is just kind of something I've always laughed at because it's like. Also, a lot of times, certain jokes I've noticed in anime seem to only work if it's in English, meaning the original Japanese makes the joke not work at all. And of course, it goes vice versa, in a cultural thing. But it's funny how some anime almost seem like it relies on being dubbed into English for certain jokes or for certain things. But it's just a kind of funny little quirk I've noticed in some anime. I'm trying to think of something else. I might as well talk about this. I recently finished playing Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes. In a previous episode I mentioned it, but I didn't really go into much detail. But yeah, I finished Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes. And I said it before, and I think I've said it multiple times on the show, that you could have sold this thing for $60 if you bundled it with something. Because what were they selling this for? They were selling it for like $40 originally, and it's literally 5 missions. Just 5 missions. Now, granted, the way you play depends on how long it takes. People have gotten like 6, 7, 8 hours out of this. I don't know how you get that much gameplay out of this because every mission I finish is like in 15 minutes. And again, that's just because I play a lot more fast-paced than most people would play Metal Gear Solid. One thing I have to say though, by the end of it, when you beat the first mission and all that, and the helicopter crashes, and okay, did you see the trailer for the little teaser for Phantom Pain like a year ago?
No, I didn't.
Okay, they showed this scene where you're in the everybody's figured out you were in the eyes of Snake. He wakes up in the hospital. Apparently, he was in a coma for 9 years, and he wakes up. He has like a prosthetic arm, and like soldiers come in and invade the hospital, and him and another guy are trying to get out of the hospital. That's really all I remember. You see how that happens, and I think that's how it's going to transition to Metal Gear Solid 5. That's it's just going to go from there. This was just pretty much a prologue. Now, one thing I did notice, this game almost requires you to have played Portable Ops or Peace Walker. The PlayStation Portable games, and I have not. So there's a lot of stuff I'm probably going to miss in Metal Gear Solid 5. But I don't know. Maybe they do a better job of, you didn't have to play the PSP games to get what's going on, because hopefully it's like the first Metal Gear Solid game where, it helps if you played the first Metal Gear 2, but it's not necessary. You can basically understand what's going on. You can understand characters' motivations and stuff like that without playing the old NES games, or Super or Famicom or whatever. whatever it's called in Japan. Hopefully they do something like that. Other things, I love the gameplay, but it's different from like Metal Gear Solid 3. And keep in mind, I did not play Metal Gear Solid 4. I didn't have a PlayStation 3, so I wasn't going to pay $600 for it. But one thing, and this ain't going to help anybody listening to this, but I'm trying to illustrate this to Don more than anything. You use R2, you use the trigger buttons to do the aim and shoot. If you haven't played any other Metal Gear Solid, have you played any? Okay, usually it's like a square or something to shoot. It had a very unique style. This is more, I think they made it to where it's easier for people who are used to playing shooters and stuff like that, because instinctively they're going to pull one trigger to aim and the other trigger to shoot. You know, that's how every first-person shooter game works. It has an interesting design. It gets some getting used to. There's been several times when I'm playing the game and I find out, oh shit, I can do that? Because the game doesn't tell you what you can and can't do unless you, I guess if you looked in the controls, you would already know. But whoever does that, unless you're trying to change the controls. Have you ever done that, where you just start a game and you're like, what the fuck is this, and you try to fix the controls?
Well, I usually just jump into the control configuration for my setting, because PC...
I forget, you might primarily play PC games.
So you got a lot of buttons and annoying buttons, because I went and got Psychonauts.
Psychonauts. Is that the one where you type in something and...
No.
Oh, what am I thinking of?
You're thinking of Scribblenauts. Psychonauts is the one with the psychological, where you go into people's minds. It's got good humor. It gets a little dark.
Wait, is that an old Xbox game?
Yes, an old Xbox.
Oh, okay,
Xbox.
Yeah. I never
Xbox
played it, but it looked fun.
It's a lot of fun. It reminded me a lot of Rayman 64.
Yeah.
With that kind of platformer, and I actually really enjoyed it. Also,
fuck, Rayman 64. I completely forgot about that game.
I kind of really missed the style of the misshaped characters sometimes.
Yeah.
Because that's what Psychonauts also has, is, big eye, little eye. A little bit like
you want more, like, you missed that kind of cartoony style.
Yeah, like the way, like, Courage had it. And I think that's also why I'm really fond of that kind of style, is that you don't really see that anymore with a lot of the games.
Games is all about trying to make it look as real as possible. But there are some games that have gone more cartoony. I mean, Splatoon obviously is more cartoony.
Right. And let's see, another game that I actually also picked up to. Let's see, I picked up 3. I picked up To the Moon, which is more of a story than it is a game. It doesn't really have much gameplay because it was made by a single person. I forgot I think it was made by a single person. I've been told it was made by a single person, or it was the MD team. But it's an amazing game for about $11. More of a kind of like going to a movie about let's see, because it's a price of it's $10. So, and it lasted me about 4 hours.
Now, is this something you could have gotten off Steam or something?
Yes, it's on. I think it's only on Steam. I haven't really checked to see if it's on anything else.
There was a story about Steam actually making their own console at one point.
Right.
Was that true? Or is that just rumor?
I didn't delve into it. I know there's the Steam controller, so I'm guessing they are going to go with the Steam box.
That would be kind of cool, considering their setup and all that. Now, how long has Steam been around? Because I know TF2 has been around.
Steam's been around a lot longer than that.
Because I remember playing Hitman on it.
I'd have to actually re-look up when Steam first started.
Okay. I just wanted that. I just was curious how long it was around. Remember GameFly, that website you get a subscription to, and they would send you games in the mail?
You were renting, pretty much?
Yeah, you're renting, but you got it in the mail. Did you ever do that?
No.
Because I used to do that all the time. That was like...
So wait, what happened to the site if you used to do that? Is it gone?
I haven't been on it.
I haven't seen any ads for it.
I'm assuming it's gone. I haven't done that in like 10 years.
Because I know there was like ads everywhere.
I remember playing like Sam and Max on it and stuff like that. You know, the Telltale games, which I feel like those are kind of underrated. That everyone thinks Telltale. They're like, oh, Walking Dead, Wolf Among Us. What about fucking Sam and Max? Well, that game was fucking awesome.
It didn't get like really popular till The Walking Dead.
Yeah, people started. Yeah, that's when people really took notice of Telltale and all that. Right before that, I think they did a Jurassic Park game, and then there was the Back to the Future one, which I only knew about it because of the guy. Because I heard about the guy that got to play Marty McFly. This guy who just does like this dead on, Michael J. Fox voice. I can't do voices, so I can't even imagine trying. But he nailed it perfectly, to the point where a lot of people, even Christopher Lloyd, thought it was Michael J. Fox. Even Christopher Lloyd thought it was him. That's how good this impersonation was. And you know what? For what it was okay. It wasn't like amazing or anything. Back to the Future is one of those things where you just cannot really add anything to it because it's such a tightly knitted movie that anything outside those three movies just won't make any sense. Well, it doesn't mean they didn't try because they made a cartoon based on it. Which wasn't bad, but it was just like, what was even the point? But then again, I think have we talked about like really fucked up things getting cartoon series? Because I think we talked about that. We've
already covered that part before.
Yeah, because I went on this kick one day of finding. Oh wait, Rambo has a cartoon. RoboCop has a cartoon. What the fuck?
Yeah, and Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, we
have gone through this, but it still doesn't make it any less fun to talk about. But somebody just sent us a question, by the way. I just checked Twitter, then for some reason it scrolled down. Yeah, right here. This was actually for Rob, but since it's not here, well, I think we can answer this. Do you think not Friday Nights at Freddy's gets too much hate? A little bit.
Okay, Five Nights and Scott, which I'm going to completely divide the two because two different things. Scott himself as a developer, I'm a little 50-50 as him as a developer because I played another one of those games that someone recommended, which you play as a little robot coffee pot. Yeah. And it was a mix of action platformer with RPG. It didn't really add a whole lot, and it had a lot of grinding. But okay, I'm getting off there. But for Five Nights, getting a little too much hate. I've seen Five Nights get a lot of love and a lot of hate. It seemed to be like 50-50.
Yeah, because a lot of people seem to hate it because of the popularity it's gotten, which, that's a common thing that happens.
Right, it's very common. But does it receive a lot of hate? I've seen more love than I have seen hate. I've also looked into the backstory of it because it actually got me pretty interested in it.
Did you watch the
Game Theorist?
Game Theorist, yeah.
Yes, I watched. That's how I watched it because a lot of the other ones I tried to watch, I was like, I'm just gonna go back to that game.
I think Matt Pat put it best that the game itself's not that interesting, but the lore and the backstory is more interesting than the actual game.
But I mean, to be fair, they're just haunted robots by children.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't be anymore because they got released. Their souls themselves got released. Yeah,
and I think the last one, and I only know this because Matt Pat did a video on it, was the one where you play as the kid that you play as the victim from the bite of 80 whatever.
87.
87?
Is it 87?
I thought it was 84, but whatever.
It's
80s. The kid who got bit by Foxy, or was it? No, it wasn't Foxy. No. It was the white one, the white fox one. Claptrap or not Claptrap? Fucking Claptrap. Yeah, Claptrap just rolls in.
No, I don't. I don't really remember much of the names of them.
It doesn't really matter.
Mangle. There we go.
Mangle. That's it. Yeah, you're playing as the kid who got bit by that one.
But in the end scenario of it, it shows the golden one doing it. At the end of the Five Nights at Freddy's 4 of the game, it ends with the kid, his brother putting his face into I think it was the Golden Party one.
I have no
I'm
idea.
trying to recall because I only saw like brief parts.
I didn't play it, so I don't know. I played 1, 2, and 3. I didn't play 4. I know Matt Pat put in it through this in there that there's no way this kid could be having like these hallucinations.
Yeah, because he said that the front lobe was damaged, and the fact that when the lobe's removed, you can't have the fear response.
Yeah, because that's where that's for fear
emotions.
and yeah.
And because it was damaged, you shouldn't be having these thoughts.
Yeah, he wouldn't be seeing that as scary because he wouldn't.
But I mean,
feel
come on, we
fear.
have haunted robotic animatronics running around.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know where really the sci-fi part fits into this.
Sci-fi.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna put into talking about if you're gonna put into the science into it, such as the frontal lobe
Yeah.
being put into it.
Yeah, obviously it's overthinking it, but that's what Matt Pat's for. That's what he does. And they're really interesting videos and all that. But honestly, I didn't put too much thought into it. I think I described it as Boo the Game, or no, I said Jump Scare the Game because that's all it really is jump scares.
And that's also the issue is the fact that it never really adapted from that. But granted, it's just one person doing it.
But the thing also is, and I think this is where the hate got from. It's just all the attention that it got from every YouTube horror out there, like your PewDiePies and all that.
Well, the reason why it got the big exposure is because of Market Peller and PewDiePie. Which, to be fair, that was actually a strong marketing move on. I think did Scott get in contact and tell him to do something? I don't really know. All I know is because they got the demos. I think.
Yeah, this is about when I found out how really bad the Let's Play community was. Not community, but the Let's Play producers are. Just because this is just when I kind of started finding out that this was a thing and all that. And like, why are you pretending to be scared and all that? I mean, people want your natural reaction. Clearly, that's not what you're giving. But then again, people have said I'm full of shit when I say that. Because, somebody like starts screaming and jumps out of their chair and all that. But being that animated, yeah, that's a legitimate scare.
At most, I just jump back and be like, ugh.
I actually don't have much of a react, and I'm not trying to sound like everyone's a pussy but me. But what I'm saying is, jump scares just don't really affect me, and that's just because I've been watching horror movies since I was 3. So jump scares just don't really affect me.
So when you play the game, it wasn't really.
Well, unless it's like a loud noise, and at that point, anybody's going to jump because it's just like
that fear response.
It's just something really loud, and you're just like, oh god. It's not, like I said, it's not the actual jump scare that gets me. It's usually the loud sound.
Well, put it in the terms of what GLaDOS said. People with conscious minds. Did you play Portal 2? I don't think you did.
I have not played Portal 2. I played Portal 1 though.
I
wanted to play Portal 2.
I remember her line that always stuck with me. She said, people with conscious minds usually jump to loud sounds. And she just played like a really loud train sound out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That actually made me slightly jump. But yeah, that's really just the response of it is loud sounds. I don't know if it's really the visual or the loud sound.
Yeah. I don't think it is the visual. I think it is. It's just a sudden jolt of noise, and it just. I guess it catches you off guard.
That's what I wanted to really test with Five Nights is mute it, and then see is it the sound or is it the visual. And
you've done that, right?
I haven't really gotten my hands on it, and I wanted to test that to see
okay.
what is really, the fear response of this. And I want to say it's more of sound.
Really, all you have to do is grab a Let's Play off YouTube and just mute the audio.
Well, I mean, it's playing it is different from watching it, especially for me because this was for Amnesia because I watched Total Biscuit play Amnesia when he was reviewing it, and I wasn't really that scared of it compared to when I was playing it. I actually did.
When you were like writing, but here's the thing with Friday Night Freddy compared to that: you're sitting in a chair the whole game. You don't really do a whole lot.
Well, I think the issue is the failure state, or how Total Biscuit puts it, of where you're trying to not die. So I think that's also what causes more of the fear with Amnesia.
I think that's why a game like and just go into this thing that you're not doing a whole lot, like you're not running or anything like that. I think that's why games like Alien Isolation and Outlast, why those games kind of get me more. It's not because something's jumping out. It's just that natural fear of something chasing you. And now, with a video game, you don't have legitimate fear. You're just like, oh shit, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna have to start over.
Well, what you do is you have to, in order for these to actually work, you have to role play with it. Because I did one after I got done with Amnesia. I did the, I'm gonna do the not give a fuck. Play around with it, jump in front of it, try to, move strafe and all that. Fuck around.
It depends on how invested you are into it. If the game's not, if the game just does not invest you at all, then you're it's not gonna affect you. But something like Alien Isolation, even Outlast. At least had my interest.
It's more of trying to evade the failure state. As saying, it's more like, I don't really want to say a simulator, but it's like, I'm trying to not die. You're trying to, you have to role play with them in order for them to be effective.
You're not going to be legitimately scared, but you can be startled. You can get stressed out because you don't want to lose your progress. And that's one thing I hate in horror games, where you can just save every corner. You can just save. That's why Alien Isolation is so cool to me, because if you didn't save, you're fucked. Because you would have to repeat all that progress again, because you don't get a whole lot of saves.
It's also removing the fear factor, because it makes it more frustrating. Because I've heard that's also with Five Nights.
Yeah.
Is that it tends to be more frustrating than it is.
Well, here's the thing. With Alien Isolation, you think, okay, it has its grid, it has its pattern that it follows, and it does. But once it goes off that thing, even if it doesn't see you, it just goes in a different direction than what it's been going. You're like, oh my god, where the fuck is it going? When you lose sight of it, like if you're in a room, you're hiding, you can see it, but you look down, you look back, it's gone. You're like, where the fuck it go? So you're like peeking around every little corner, looking for vents and stuff like that, and people can't see, but I'm like actually emoting this. You're like looking at vents and stuff like that. You are on the edge of your seat, and once you hear that hiss, or you hear, you hear it like running or something like that, or you hear like slipping and sliding, I should say. Or you hear that scream that it has. You're like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. You're trying to get out of there. You're like, come on door. Bam, it catches you. And because you're like, well, I'm talking about an actual experience I had in the game where the door was opening. I'm like, oh my god, I'm not here. Fuck you.
So it built the whole tense moment.
Yeah.
And I think that's also what horror really needs is ambience, because that's also what actually helps with getting involved. Because I'm also thinking of Metro Last Light.
Yeah.
Which actually fucking as much as my computer was not able to run that, for the parts it was able to run when you actually go outside, all the realism, or not realism, but a lot of the gritty effects.
Once you get outside.
Like all the gritty effects and, the water splashing, it makes it a lot more easier to get involved. All the sound, it makes it feel organic. And I think that's where horror needs to lean more into.
Well, the thing, though, is with, and I'm going to go back to Alien Isolation for this, when you don't even see the alien, you hear like some you hear like a vent hiss or something like that. You're like, or one of the little vent doors open because you're like, shh, which kind of sounds like.
Which I think that's actually a pretty smart move too. That and I think environment also.
That's what I'm
hugely
getting at is. You just hear like a ding, like in a vent somewhere, and even if the alien is not there, you're like, it could be there, and you're like, you don't know whenever it's just gonna pop out, and when it does, you better fucking hide because it's gonna rip your face off.
And speaking of ambience, I've heard some people say, did Five Nights have any ambience sounds?
Yes, it did.
Were they good ones? That helped get
you would hear
involved?
maybe like, well, not like to the extent of Alien Isolation where it's things. But you hear like kind of, faint, like a faint, slowed down laugh in the in the distance, like a muffled laugh.
That was 2.
Yeah.
Film 2 had that.
I think actually one had that too. But just little noises here and there, just kind of make a kind of a creepy atmosphere. And I think that's one of those like fears that almost everybody's had at some point. You know,
Clowns and
animatronics, clowns, and I grew. A lot of people grew up in like the animatronic era. If you grew up in the 80s, you know how fucking creepy Chuck E. Cheese was. Even fucking the 90s, it was creepy. Because by the 90s, not a lot of people went to Chuck E. Cheese. But I'm sure, yeah, people did, but it wasn't like... It's just Chuck E. Cheese. It was one of the things you got forced to go to, like at a birthday party or something like that. Oh, Chuck E. Cheese. And you're like, I don't like the animatronics. They're like creepy. So that's why I just played Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. So as a game, how do you say hold up? Because I haven't really gotten to play it.
Five Nights at Freddy's. I think as a game, there's not much of it. There really is not much of a game.
Because I've heard it's really frustrating too.
It's not. I've never found it frustrating. It's just it depends on how you play it, like the power, like how much power you use and stuff like that. There's nothing as a game purely mechanically. It works just fine. I've never had any issues with it or anything like that. Any glitches or anything like any glitches that happen. That's because that's the game itself. The game doing, it's just scare tactics. I've had no actual real problems with it. As gameplay, like I said, there's not a whole lot, but for what it is, essentially, is a clicking. It's a
point and click.
Point and click. That's what I'm trying to say. I apparently can't say simple words. Point and click game. A lot of people hate point and click games, but if you grew up like in the '90s and you had a computer, odds are you had a shit ton of point and click games. I had a few. I didn't have any like horror themed ones, but even though I've heard there was some awesome.
Well, technically, in the nitty gritty, FPSs are also point and click.
And
you are pointing and you are clicking.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Point and click as the genre.
Yeah.
It's just it's not for everybody, and honestly, it's not like a game I have to play or anything like that. I just played it mostly out of curiosity, how it works and all that. And just I wanted to see how the sequels change and all that. I have not played 4 because I'm just really not interested in it anymore. I know a guy on YouTube who he didn't want to play them originally, but so many people kept asking him to play it, and he's like, "Fine, fuck it, I'll play it." Even though he says he kind of has like this issue with he doesn't like doing what all the other Let's Players are doing, because he's like, this is just a trend. Why would I, why do I have to do this? Why? Because PewDiePie did it. And by the way, this is the guy who fucking hates PewDiePie. He says he said all the good he's done for like the Let's Players and all that, he's done twice as much damage. Because that, people think Let's Player, they think PewDiePie.
And when you say about hate, is it the character itself or the person itself?
I don't know how much there is a difference. I don't know if there is a difference, but I think he more hates his content. I don't think he actually hates him, the person. Like I've said before, him as a person, I think he's a pretty cool guy from what I've read and how I've seen him interact with his fans and stuff like that. He didn't seem like some of these people, they turn out to be giant douchebag like Angry Joe or Spoony or some people like that who, you might love their content, but they're a bit of a prick. Angry Joe has kind of showed some ugly colors recently, and just kind of like, I don't want to like insult him or anything like that because I don't know him personally, so I can't judge him personally. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just saying that you got these guys who kind of get a chip on their shoulder because they're like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, I'm a celebrity. I don't get that really from PewDiePie, even though I think, how much money is he making? I think he's making like millions.
I think you probably have to actually double check that because I've heard YouTube's not very good at paying their.
Well, the thing though is, people have. I remember people throwing a hissy fit because he made so and so $1 million. people were throwing a hissy fit over that. I'm like,
Wait,
good for him.
what were they throwing a hissy fit for?
Because he made so much damn money. Because he was making like so $1 million.
Is there evidence of this? Of how much he's making on income?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can actually back check this and all that. I didn't get mad when I heard that. I'm like, good for him.
Well, I mean,
I don't give a shit about his videos, but good for him.
I mean, you gotta understand, if you play the game, you gotta play the game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just how life is. It sucks, but
This guy on YouTube, he did a video called. By the way, the only reason why I'm not saying his name is he actually told me not to bring up his name. He did a video about top 10 worst Let's Player, not top 10 worst Let's Player, top 10 worst YouTube personalities, and he threw PewDiePie in there. He threw, all the obvious ones, Ray William Johnson, Smosh, and all that.
well, Ray's dead.
Do what?
Ray Williams.
Oh, he's dead?
No, I mean the character itself.
That's what
all
I figured. I figured that's what
gone.
he meant.
Same with Fred. Fred, who the fuck even says Fred anymore?
Fred wasn't even on the list, but yeah.
Yeah, because Fred's like dead.
He
under that character.
The notable ones are like PewDiePie and Smosh. I didn't watch the video. I just looked at in the description. He says he listed the numbers, and I think Angry Joe was number 10. He talked about how it's and keep in mind he never liked him. He always thought he was an asshole. Always hated his videos. Now he also did that same week. He did top 10 favorite YouTubers and all that. People on his list was Archfiend and I think he said Archfiend, Amazing Atheist, PM Rant. I think that's his name, PM Rant.
I heard that name before.
Which I like PM Rant. I talked to him on Twitter. He's a pretty fucking cool guy.
Oh, wait, he's the one who did the top 10 worst YouTube?
Yeah, he did one of these videos too.
Okay, yeah, I was like, wait, I heard that name before. Where did I hear it before?
I think, what was number one? The fucking music videos, Vivos or something like that. Some other ones he threw out there. I think he threw out. He's a big fan of James Rolfe, so I think he did throw out Cinemassacre. But I wouldn't count Cinemassacre because the majority of that James' content is on his website, not really YouTube. But they do Mike and James play and stuff like that. They do Let's Plays and stuff like that. Not your typical Let's Plays. They're just let's play this. And, they'll kind of edit around it and all that.
Whenever I watch, the only time I ever watch gameplay is usually a gameplay movie. To where you actually watch the whole... Because if I'm not going to
I don't even like watching... I try to do that with Metal Gear Solid because I want to play the first game so fucking badly, but I can't. I wish they would make it available on PlayStation 4, as a downloadable thing. Because on PlayStation, it's available on PlayStation 3. Why can't it be on PlayStation 4? Anyway.
Did we even answer that question?
What?
The one about the Five Nights?
I
think we just completely got off topic.
No. We basically said it. We basically answered it.
And then everything is just really 50-50 based upon what people perceive. You got people who hate it because it's popular, and you got people who hate it for completely different reasons. I myself am a little mixed emotion on it because
I think I made it pretty apparent. It's okay. I think it's okay. It's not.
As the content itself, it does no harm and it doesn't do anything greater for the horror genre. It's just something that's really there.
One thing is I think it brought attention to horror games, which I think that's kind of a genre that doesn't get a whole lot of respect.
I think horror genre has been getting a lot of too much attention for games.
Like what?
Well, I mean, isn't that what really made PewDiePie big? Was his whole jump scare stuff with Amnesia, a lot of other random horror games.
All I ever hear when people bring up
pixelated horror games.
All I ever hear people bring up when it comes to horror games is Silent Hill and Resident Evil. That's about it. I don't hear a whole lot. The other Capcom zombie game, One in the Mall.
Oh, Dead Rising.
Dead Rising. Yeah, I hear about that one too, but I didn't start hearing about horror games until people started talking about Friday Nights. Five Nights at people started talking about Five Nights, and that's when I started to hear more about this stuff. I think Outlast got popular, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't remember a whole lot of videos on it, and I could be completely wrong. There could be like thousands of them.
Well,
Actually,
there was
let me look
also
that
like
up.
Slender.
I completely forgot about that one.
You got I'm Scared was another one, and there was other pixelated horror.
I don't know.
ones.
I'm scared.
It's a pixelated horror game.
Slender Man, I have. I completely forgot about that. Who made that one? Was that another one that PewDiePie played?
I think he's what made it big.
Okay, right off the bat, I'm seeing a lot of Outlast stuff, but I don't know how a year ago.
Because like a lot of people jump onto the horror genre.
Holy fuck! Never mind.
What?
There is a shit ton of Outlast videos.
Okay, so yeah, it did get pretty popular because the horror genre just it booms. But my issue with it is it's not. Nothing's been bringing new to the table.
Well, here's my thing. These are like like indie games, not like AAA titles. And that's one thing I've noticed is there's not a whole lot of horror AAA titles that isn't Silent Hill or Resident Evil or I guess Dead Island. Nah, I want to call Dead Island a AAA game.
No, it died. That thing died on. So many people hated that game, and I don't blame them.
That
bait with the trailer.
I thought it was cool, but I didn't expect it to be great. I saw the trailer, I'm like, yeah, let's see how they fuck it up. Now that's funny me saying that because I love getting, and this is kind of turning into our next subject. I love getting hyped for games that I'm like really excited for. So I can't wait. I can't wait to play this, and I want to see something of it. And if I get a trailer, I'm like, I get excited. But I'm fully aware that I could be disappointed by it.
Yeah. But what I'm missing now is I'm missing demos. I want to see more demos for games. Just a little bit of demos of like the first level.
Demos now.
Yeah.
You're talking about demos with games.
Well, back then for the PS2, I remember there was in the books of they would come with demos. I forgot what the other thing. I don't know if it was Game Eater or what. But I remember in the midway there was a little packet that had a demo because I remember playing Katamari.
Yeah.
I think it was. I also played a demo of Shadow Colossus, and there was another demo for like some. I think it was just a sports game.
If you're wondering what that noise is, that's just me moving around. I'm just looking in my drawer. Yeah, there's a lot of games I used to. The only way I would get to play them is by playing demos on other games. Metal Gear Solid 2 was on. I can't remember what game it was on, but people bought that game just to play the Metal Gear Solid 2 demo. I would agree with that. I would like to see that more. I feel like maybe I don't know.
I mean, you can have both. You can have a trailer and a demo, so that way people will be like, "Oh, we got people who get hyped for the trailer," and then you have also people who are a little bit smarter and go, "Hey, demo! Let's see if this is actually worth getting."
Yeah, they do demo. You can buy demos, but it's not with the game. You have to buy the demo itself. But usually a demo is like what? Might be $10.
I just say just do a free demo and throw a little bit of ad on it. There you go.
Okay. Just throw it in with another game. That would be something more. Yeah, I'm behind that. I remember playing. This is like was my introduction to Guitar Hero, because I had a game called Tony Hawk's Proving Ground, which is an okay game. I don't think there's really been a great Tony Hawk game since Underground. But I remember playing the demo for Guitar Hero 3. And I remember playing the shit out of that. Keep in mind, I didn't have to have a stupid... I didn't have to have a stupid controller. I could just do it with my regular controller, which I wish you could do on just regular Guitar Hero when you actually have the game, but no, you have to use the fucking fucking toy that you have to thump. I'm not really into rhythm games, so that I just think the idea of having a little guitar controller is just fucking stupid. I thought that when those games were new. Rock Band. I remember when Rock Band came out. I'm like, really? Fucking drum set and all that?
I mean, I enjoyed Guitar Hero. I enjoyed it enough to where it fucked up my hands and I have really bad carpal tunnel now.
Oh my, are you serious?
Yeah,
I got fucking carpal tunnel just from playing regular video games.
Nah, it got bad when I played, what was it, Melee and fucking
I
Guitar
can
Hero.
imagine. And that was the GameCube one?
Yeah.
I can imagine with that little C-stick.
No, it's not the C-stick. It's just turning a lot of your button lays out. And what you always had to always press just got really annoying.
I fucking hated the GameCube controller because of the C-stick and all that, because that did some wear and tear on my thumb. I hated the joystick because the texture of it would basically rub your thumb raw.
But yeah, it's those games that ruined the years of my life on my hands.
Real quick, favorite controller? Video game controller?
PC.
Come on. Not the besides PC. Like console.
Oh, that's a hard one. I like the PlayStation 2 controller because it was nice, it was easy, it fit right into your hand, it felt good.
You see, you just went with what I was going to go with.
And then the next would probably have to be 360 because, you know, it didn't really hurt my hands, and I have pretty bad carpal tunnel, so I didn't have really any issue with it.
I think, for me personally, I prefer the PlayStation controllers just because I think that is the perfect controller. Now, personally, I have a soft spot for, you know, the Sega Genesis controller. You know, the D-pad and 3 buttons.
I don't remember. Was it big?
It was kind of like, had a
little smiley?
Looked like a little bit of a smiley. It kind of looked like a big old boomerang.
Oh, the N64 I think was the worst.
I liked the N64, but that's because I had tiny hands and I could
hated the N64.
Use it better. The joystick was shit. I'll say that. The joystick was shit. I remember everybody I knew they had controllers, but always joystick was broken.
For the N64?
Yeah, for the N64, I remember every time joysticks being broken.
I know mine were broken. I think they just broke.
I never broke a joystick on any of my controllers. I would go to my cousin's house though, and all his controllers would be busted in some way or another.
Well, the N64 I think just broke very easily. Just had very bad wear and tear.
It didn't last long. Also, it had the same problem of rubbing your thumb raw. But I was still used to using D-pads because, you know, it was. I played the Nintendo and the Sega Genesis before that, so I was still used to D-pads. Pure nostalgia, though. Besides that, pure nostalgia. The Nintendo controller, the old NES rectangle. Just for nostalgia's sake, a lot of people tell me the brick. A lot of people tell me they loved the bone, the old Nintendo bone, the Super Nintendo controller. At least I think that's what people called it. People called it the bone because it kind of looked like had a bone shape. I liked that controller. I never owned a Super Nintendo, so I can't really say that one. Then there's probably the worst controller I've ever messed with was probably the Atari Jaguar. And not to pick on something that's easy to pick on, but it easily is the worst controller I've ever played.
I hated the Wii because you had to change batteries, and those batteries died
constantly. Yeah.
That was my issue. And the only way to start up your Wii was with a Wiimote, and I was like, oh no, my batteries are dead.
They work fine as a remote.
Yeah, I had no issue with that, but it was just the whole battery.
Motion controls, I fucking hated motion controls.
I didn't have an issue with it, but I would just rather have a controller.
Yeah, luckily they made a controller. That, or you can just use. Could you use a regular GameCube controller?
Only if the game allowed it.
Okay, so it was only for selective games. Okay, but they did make a controller, which I appreciate that. I don't have a Wii, so it's not like really a big deal to me. But I appreciate that they actually would have, because there's just games you have to use a controller for. You can't use your fucking nunchuck bullshit. I imagine Super Smash Brothers, it was much easier to play with a controller than it was with the...
There was no point to play with a remote. I hated being the fourth wheel and just being like, oh look, We only have 3 controllers. Guess who gets the short stick? I do.
Did you ever have the wheel for like Mario Kart? I can't imagine anybody using that fucking wheel.
I just used the game controller. Never even bothered. I was like, I tried it one time. I was like, this sucks.
I've seen people play with the wheel. It looks so stupid. Just use the controller. Now, have you played like Mario Kart, stuff like that?
I played Mario Kart. I played Link's Archery Training, which is the only time the Wiimote.
Which one? What was the Mario Kart game? Which one was that? It
was Mario Kart for. I think it was just Mario Kart Wii. Was that what it was called?
I thought they had like more than that, or maybe maybe they didn't have another one until like the
Wii U.
Wait, it was like.
Well, there was also the DS
8, 9,
one.
10, something like that.
There's a lot. I don't remember. All I know is there was one for the DS, another one for the DS Lite or whatever. There was quite a bit.
First Mario Kart game?
Was not Mario Kart 64. It was actually it was Mario Kart Double Dash.
My first was just Mario Kart. I would go to my friend's house, play it on the Super Nintendo. I owned it shortly, the 64 version. And that's the last one I've played. I haven't played one since. I wouldn't know which one was Double Dash. That was GameCube, right? One. And that's the one where it's called Double Dash. So I assume it's the one where you had like a partner on the back or something like that. It just seemed like it was I just imagine like siblings like giving their little brother or something. Like, hey, here, you get to be my support.
No, it was one player had control of 2 characters.
Oh, I thought two players can.
I think there was an option, but I didn't see the point of that.
I don't know, to play it together, I guess. That whole generation from GameCube to Wii U it's kind of a blur to me because I never owned those and I didn't really play those consoles. I played a little bit of the GameCube because I had a friend who had it. I don't know anybody who has a Wii outside one friend that I have. He's about the only one I know that has a Wii, but he barely plays it. He makes videos on YouTube, so that takes up so much of his time, so he hasn't really played video games a whole lot. But his girlfriend is really into the Wii. I think if I've played the Wii, any it's probably with her. I would play with her, but it was mostly like she fucking loved Brawl. That was like that's the Wii one, right?
Yes.
Okay. She fucking loved Brawl. I did not like playing with her because she would just kick my ass with Pikachu all the time. Because that's like her favorite character. And all I remember from playing those games is you and Robert kicking the shit out of me for using Samus. I was that spamming asshole who kept using the same attack over and over again. And you guys just stomped my ass. I was kind of hard to play with back then because I was kind of like, I don't know how to play. It's like, why are you picking on me? You know, I was that annoying asshole who was like, I don't know how to play. This is not fair. God, I hate me. But that's how I was at the time. I couldn't. Oh, another game you guys stomped my ass. It wasn't really you. I think it was more Robert and what's his name?
Caleb?
Caleb, yeah. Whoops. But, oh well. Yeah, I remember Robert and Caleb demolishing me at Halo. I don't remember which Halo it was. It was on that regular Xbox. Oh, it was 2? Okay. Oh, God, that's something... I kind of missed that. You know, getting those Xboxes and all those TVs and
system linking.
Yeah, I kind of missed that.
Yeah, having a LAN party and it was just like, oh, this is actually a lot of fun because everyone's there and not, online.
Yeah,
miles away.
I miss stupid shit on most of that. I miss stupid shit like being able to just sit down in front of the TV with your buddy and play 2-player. You can't do that anymore. I think at this point we're about done. There's something I want to show you after the show, so we're probably going to bring this to the end. How long have we been going?
And about an hour and 40.
Okay, so this is...
Well, it's actually an hour 35, but whatever.
Oh, well. So, this has been Hobby Shop. I'm Philip.
And Don.
So, see you next week. Or next time. Or whenever this happens next time. It's 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 next time.